This has been the honor of my life, the privilege of my life, for me and Donna to serve all Marines, all families, all sailors everywhere. Semper Fidelis.
General David Berger just wrapped up 4 years as Commandant of the Marine Corps, leading the service in what was a very consequential time for the Marine Corps. He began to think through a generational change for the service that would prepare them for peer-on-peer conflict, which is something the Marine Corps hadn't thought about in the past 2 decades as they were preoccupied with ground wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Force Design 2030, as this effort was known, is really looking at modernizing the Marine Corps, bringing in new technologies, new sensors, new weapons, but it also had several follow-on efforts looking at modernizing the personnel side through Talent Management 2030, as well as the infrastructure side through Installations and Logistics 2030. So really, General Berger was looking to modernize the entire service and prepare it for a new era of conflict. Even as he was trying to undertake these changes, he also had a lot of unexpected challenges to deal with during his 4 years as Commandant, including the COVID-19 pandemic, which really entered the discussion about 6 months into his time leading the service, as well as the war in Ukraine and the withdrawal from Afghanistan. So even as he was making these big generational changes to the service, there were a lot of current events that really preoccupied his time.
General Dave Berger has led this historic and transformational effort. He's done so with vision and creativity and boldness. He's not just willing to embrace change, he's eager to lead change.
Folks typically think about General Berger as being a very thoughtful leader. He is most comfortable when he's in listening mode, really wants to hear both from high-level leaders in the US and in allied and partnered militaries, as well as the low-level Marine, really gathering as much information as he can in sort of this listening and thinking mode before coming to any decisions. He's been very data-driven throughout the Force Design 2030 process and has had a very iterative approach of listening, thinking about ideas, wargaming them out, experimenting with them, and then implementing changes. Despite this reputation for being very thoughtful and very open to listening to anyone with a good idea, he has received his fair share of pushback to Force Design 2030. And his perspective has been that he's willing to listen to the debate, he's willing to engage in the debate, but at the end of the day, the data proves out a good path forward, and he hasn't backed down from his idea of where Force Design ought to go, even despite the criticism from a significant number of retired generals.
3 years ago, I appeared before you and described how change, rapid change, was required to meet our statutory missions in the Marine Corps and the mandates of the National Defense Strategy. And with the bipartisan help of the members of this committee and my civilian leadership in the Pentagon, I'm here to tell you this morning that Force Design is not a future aim point, it is a reality today.
General Berger stepped down as Commandant on July 10th. During the ceremony at Marine Barracks, Washington, he handed the official battle colors to General Eric Smith, who is currently serving as the Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps. However, despite all the pomp and circumstance of the ceremony, General Smith is not officially the Commandant. He is performing the duties of the Commandant while also remaining the Assistant Commandant. And this is due to the Senate's inability to vote on a number of military officials who are being promoted and moving on to other jobs. So during this time period, General Smith will be essentially performing the role of the number 1 and the number 2 Marine leaders. His schedule is going to be very busy. He has all the authorities to do whatever is needed to keep the Marine Corps on track. But it really just comes down to the fact that there's not a permanent head of the Marine Corps in place. And a lot of folks are wondering, what message does that send to friends and allies? What message does that send to potential adversaries? And so multiple speakers at the ceremony, including outgoing Commandant General Berger, really urged the Senate to do their job and put General Smith in as the official Senate-confirmed Commandant of the Marine Corps.
The Marine Corps is in fantastic hands, and I'm with you, Mr. Secretary. We need the Senate to do their job so that we can have a sitting commandant that's appointed and confirmed. We need that House to be occupied. We ask the Senate to do that.
Though General Berger is stepping down after 4 years of developing and implementing Force Design 2030, there's not a chance that this effort isn't going to move forward. General Smith has been very clear that he not only likes force design and the direction that it's going in, but that he wants to accelerate it. He's told the Senate Armed Services Committee during his confirmation hearing that he wanted to continue with force design and, if the money were available, accelerate it.
Force Design 2030 is in a good place. Whether the year is 27, 26, 25, for the Marines, we are the fight tonight force. We want to be even more ready than we are every single day. That's our mission when we wake up. So Force Design is on track. We need to accelerate those areas where we can, and that'll come with the steady funding and the continued experimentation and quick feedback that we get from our extremely excellent Marine Corps Warfighting Lab.
And he actually told me, following the change of command ceremony, that he was interested in looking at things like long-range fires that he can accelerate immediately, even as he's serving as acting commandant of the Marine Corps. So he really, wants to put his foot to the gas pedal and is not willing to back down on force design because he so firmly believes that it's the right direction for the Marine Corps.
As far as budgetary experimentation, changing formations, I can still do all that. And those things that are working well for us, long-range fires, etc., we will move faster on them as long as we have a defense budget.
Okay, so you don't need to wait to go fast. You can start doing that right now.
I do not need to wait.
So even though there's a new face leading the Marine Corps, we shouldn't expect to see any big changes, and the Marine Corps will continue in the direction it's been under the past 4 years of General Berger's leadership.